Welcome back, everybody, to episode 22 of this fantastic podcast, the Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast. Or if you follow us on Twitter, EPEEP for short. So, this is the starter of a three-parter. So, I think I'm going to do it by myself this week. I'm joking. On the other line with me is the one who thinks too much. It's good old Dougie Fresh. Dougie, man, how you doing?
No such thing as thinking too much.
You do. You think way too much.
There's no such thing as thinking.
Got that psychic presence on you.
I
don't
wish.
Know.
I
know.
wish.
So how you doing, man? I mean, we're getting ready to jump into this classic episode that we have. So it's gonna be nice.
I'm excited to start this 3-episode stretch, and I'm actually more curious to find out how our movie went.
Oh, I know. Because welcome everybody to 2021. This is the very first episode of the new year.
Holy shit.
I know.
Holy
Peek behind the curtain. We're recording this on October 20th of 2020. So hopefully 2021 is good so far. I hope you all are having a great first Saturday of the new year.
People are listening to this they're either listening to this in their homes and everything's normal, or they're in a fucking bunker somewhere.
Or they're in a bubble, because I hear that's a new thing for concerts now. Did you hear about that?
Is it anything like the pods that they've been trying to do at these wrestling shows?
Are they actually doing that?
They're supposed to.
That
like
how are people not going to suffocate inside of that?
Well, it's not physical. It's like here's a group of 6 seats. These are your 6 seats for your group. You can't move. I mean, obviously you've got to go to the concession stands or whatever, but it's like, here's a pod. It's spread out. I mean, obviously they don't do wide shots of the crowd, so you can't get a full breadth of what they're doing.
Yeah, that's a thing. Hashtag no more 2020. Let's get that rolling out there, everybody. But yeah, this is the start of new things. I guess some house cleaning work that we can officially announce now that it's the new year. But we have a couple guests lined up for our podcast that's going to be making appearances pretty soon. I'm not going to say who as of yet, but in the next coming weeks, we're going to have our very first special guest on the show.
That's what we call a soft announcement.
Yes.
Giving us plenty of room in case something happens.
Well, hopefully nothing does happen, but it's clear to say now that we've been in contact that this first guest is going to be the first of many. He's the pilot, everybody, because I've actually been reached out to by a few other YouTubers or Twitchers or what do you call people that do Twitch? Because my cousin does Twitch, and do they call themselves the Twitchers or what is their slogan?
They make medicine for that. But no, I think they just call themselves streamers, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, for YouTube, like if you stream on YouTube, you're called a YouTuber.
You're a YouTuber. Yeah, I haven't really heard that for Twitch. It's just I'm active on Twitch.
Okay,
is really all I've really heard.
So I'm gonna start it now. You guys are now on, at least on this show, called the Twitchers.
These views are the views of one Wrestling Chris G, and they do not reflect the entire organization that is EPEEP. Hate-filled tweets and emails can be sent to...
We will not start that on this podcast like we did with Sports Entertainment Breakdown.
Well, all right then.
Because I remember those, and I remember you pumping that up, and people would just send emails just to send them. We're not doing that.
Well, then you can't be out there calling people twitchers.
Well, it's a form of flattery.
Is it?
Yes.
I don't think it is.
Yo, I'm on I'm on Twitch, man. Follow me, you and all my Twitchers.
No, because that sounds like you're slinging dope.
Hey, it's 2021, man. but but yeah, outside of all this, let's keep things moving here, Doug. We're gonna be all day talking about who's a Twitcher and who's a tweeter, the twits and yeah, I'm done.
Jello
Okay.
pudding pops.
Yes. So today's episode is episode 22 of the Pokemon series, and it's called Abra and the Psychic Showdown. This is part one of a three-parter, and translated from Japanese, it's called Casey Psychic Showdown. This show originally aired August 26th of 1997 in Japan and premiered here in the States October 6th of 1998. And if you follow our podcast pretty closely, we like to look up historical dates, starting with the beginning part of the date. And motherfucker, I beat you this week. I got you, Doug. I'm going first. Mine's first this week.
Out of complete spite.
It is not out of complete spite, but
Yeah,
I won.
Right.
I won this week. I got you.
Out of complete spite.
It is not out of complete spite. And people are, so I'm normally the movie one. Doug's normally the sports one, but we decided this week that we're going to switch things up. Right, Doug?
Well, no, you decided because you're like, I got two. And one of them is from 95, and one of them is from 1882, and I'm sure you took the one from 82. And when I said, no, I've got something different, you said, I'm going to take the one from 1882 because I know I can beat your ass, which is bullshit. Because you don't know diddly about nothing.
What do you mean about nothing? You mean I do
talking
know
about 1882 in baseball. You don't know diddly.
Well, you know what, Doug? I'm gonna tell mine, and mine's gonna be short and sweet and to the point.
Because that's about all you know.
No, it is not. But today, let's see, on October 6th in 1882 was the very first game of the very first World Series ever, featuring the Cincinnati Red Stockings against the Chicago White Stockings at Bank Street Grounds, Cincinnati.
Go ahead. Tell them who won, because I know it's there.
The Cincinnati Red Stockings won.
What was the score? Because I know it's there.
It's 4-0.
Right.
And it's funny that we're doing this the day that we're recording, because actually, as we're recording today, is game one of the 2020 World Series. So, yeah.
Who's in the World Series this year? Go ahead. You're Mr. Baseball. Go ahead. Don't look it up. Don't cheat. Don't do it.
Who said I would not have to cheat?
Don't do it. Go ahead. Don't do it.
What do you mean? Don't do it.
You got a 2 out of 30 chance. Who's in the World Series this year?
The Tampa Bay Rays and the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yeah, you fucking looked that up. There was a pause.
No, you would not let me talk. You just talk too much.
No, I gave you more than enough time to Google something in the background. Because as much as I like giving you shit, I like giving you opportunities to step in there.
Well, you know what? I got it right?
Well, you did, but you also looked it up, so.
You did. You can't prove that, but all right. But that was my date for October 6th. Good old Dougie man, what was yours? As I drink my rainbow slushy that my son made me get for dinner today.
So in 1927, pardon me, The Jazz Singer is released in theaters. And this is significant because The Jazz Singer is the first, as it were, this moves motion pictures out of the silent film era and into sound.
Wait, what was the date that you gave this one?
27,
Oh, okay. Okay.
1927.
Okay. Cool. Never mind.
Bit of a problematic movie in that the main character uses blackface.
Not cool.
No, not really. I mean, he's a Jewish. I had the Wikipedia article up just to get a synopsis. He's a Jewish. He's raised in a traditional Jewish family. Wants to become a jazz musician. I mean, you can kind of see where it goes. I mean, if you do an image search, you're going to see some things that aren't too
flattering.
But it is a significant film in that it brought us into the sound era. Got an honorary Academy Award just based on the fact that this was the first talking picture, and only received one actual Academy Award nomination for best writing of an adaptation. It didn't win, but that was the only one it legitimately received, and then obviously it got the honorary Oscar years later. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that one.
All right. So good stuff, Doug. Good stuff. Not a big fan of pictures doing blackface, but I mean, it's the times that the movie came out in. So yeah.
Right. I mean, we had a discussion a couple weeks ago about
Splash Mountain.
Splash Mountain is kind of in the same vein.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, all right. Now that we got that out of the way and we did our homework, it's time to start diving into this week's episode, Doug.
Yeah, I'm excited, like I say, to talk about this one because I was hit right over the head with this episode throughout, and then when it finished. And I mean, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I'm pretty sure people have been listening to this long enough can tell when I'm about to say something. But I'm going to make you all wait.
Yes. Now, Doug, I'm gonna sit here and I'm going to ask you. I feel like we should play this game every week, and see if you will either second guess yourself or you'll actually guess it right. But
oh no, I saw a screenshot of this when I was googling the episode.
Oh, well, son of a bitch.
I mean, I'm sorry to make you go through all the buildup, but yeah.
Yeah, this week's Who's That Pokemon is good old Abra. This is the first episode Abra is making his appearance in Pokemon.
Yes.
So, and it's pretty significant because I'm surprised that they actually gave Abra this one. And well, okay. Actually, I can see why they gave it to him on this one. Now thinking about the next two episodes, and
right.
Actually, I know who the next Who's That Pokemon is, and then
I mean, logically, I know who the next two are.
You'll be surprised for the next one.
Really?
Yes. So.
Okay.
Yeah. So. Because there's a couple that it could be, but I'm almost positive that you're probably not going to get the next one right. You'll probably get the third one, but I don't think you're going to get the second one right without looking it up.
Really? Okay. Well, I'm curious because I haven't watched it yet.
So, all right, you ready to dive on in, Doug?
I am. I'm excited.
All right. So we start this episode with a cold entrance into the series. The second time that we actually don't start the series with the trio and Pikachu, but this is with who we're gonna end up finding out is Sabrina, sitting in the chair with little Sabrina, sitting right on her lap.
Yeah, but we should say you can't really tell whose lap little Sabrina's sitting on.
No.
I mean, it becomes clear in the episode, obviously, but at this particular shot.
And when this is going on in the cold shot, they get a close up of the red eyes of the figure that's holding little Sabrina, and then it zooms in, and then you get a shot of little Sabrina's eye wide open, just sitting there. It's kind of a creepy intro into the series. I mean, I kind of feel like the person, and we're gonna have to look this up probably on part two, who created some of these early episodes, because some of these early episodes kind of give you a creepy vibe as you're watching it.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the first things that hit me, and obviously, you go, of course, it's one of the first things. It's the first thing in the episode, but it's one of the things that hit me the hardest was like, that's a really cool shot first of all, and then the music they lay over her little she has a really brief speech. I think she says something along the lines of "It's time to come and play."
Yeah.
And it's this really stereotypical like horror music. And I mean, obviously, y'all are hearing this in the beginning of 2020 in January when there's really snow on the ground and Christmas lights on the houses and shit. But we're sitting here watching it 11 days out from Halloween, and there's a rainstorm. I'm going, ooh, that's something.
For real. So, all right, but we go straight from that to the intro. Or actually, no, it's not even the intro.
Yeah,
We
not right
we
away.
we look at Ash, Misty, Brock, and Pikachu fade into her eyeball as if she's watching. Sabrina is watching these trainers and it's suspecting that they are coming to her gym.
And we get right into the bickering because Ash is he's at his limit, talking about, oh, this is the way to Cerulean City. Or, no, not Cerulean City, goddammit.
Viridian City.
Viridian City. I should never have listened to you. And Misty says something along the lines of, you have such bad sense of direction, you can't even find yourself in a mirror. And Ash immediately quips back, well, you crack mirrors.
And it's just funny because they fight like brother and sister, but to think about this, like I used to think that Ash and Misty had a thing for each other, but they can't really, I guess, thinking about it as an adult now, can't really have too much of a thing for each other because they're only 10. I mean, but was that the age that we started looking at girls, Doug?
I don't want to speak for you
Well,
because we've had other discussions on other podcasts that are available somewhere.
In an archive far, far away.
Yeah, really. I think it's locked in the same spot where the Ark of the Covenant is. But I can't really remember the first time something hit me in the face and say, "Hey, dummy, you might like girls." I really can't, and I was not prepared to start thinking that way, so I don't really have an answer for you.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, they bicker like brother and sister, and some could say that maybe they kind of have feelings for each other because why the hell else was Misty following them on the journey?
Her
I mean,
bike,
yeah, I mean, I guess, but
which
then
she
you have
hasn't brought up in a couple episodes. I should say that
yeah,
at least.
because she doesn't care anymore.
Right.
She's getting her steps in.
She's getting her steps in. Yes. Yes.
So, but Brock budges in and tries to be the mediator of these two. And so is Pikachu. Pikachu is trying to sit there and stop everybody from fighting and bickering, but it's late. They're tired. They just want to get to this new town. And what's going to make time go by even faster but arguing with each other?
And I really thought the way that Pikachu is kind of ramping up, like you could tell, like you could hear the desperation in his voice. I really thought Pikachu was gearing up for a shock.
Oh, you thought so?
Like, I'll get y'all motherfuckers to shut up.
And it's at this point, as they're all trying to talk over one another, they all look over to the side and they see a little girl who will be later revealed as little Sabrina. And she's bouncing a ball in a corner of the forest, and Ash, Misty, and Brock are trying to talk to her. And as soon as they try talking to her, she runs away and then just vanishes.
And Ash takes
creepy.
off after her. Well, yeah. Pardon me. And then Ash takes off after her, and he's running, and then like all of a sudden some fog lifts, and
He's about to run off the damn cliff.
And didn't we say something similar a couple weeks ago about how it always seems like these three are always trying to walk off cliffs or bridges or something?
Yes, we just said that a couple weeks ago because the same thing happened to them and Team Rocket.
And I'm sitting here going, they really don't listen.
No, they don't. But who in their right mind, like, okay, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm probably going to be the first one to die if I was on a Pokemon adventure, because if I fell off a damn cliff, the one thing I'm not thinking about is let me throw this Pokeball up, get Bulbasaur out, and have Bulbasaur grab me from falling to my unfaithful death. Like I'd be the one that's just dead, because I'd be like, oh my god, I'm falling. I don't know what to do. What am I supposed to do? And then at the last moment I'd throw the Pokeball up, and then Bulbasaur come out, and then Bulbasaur start falling, and just be like, what the fuck? Why'd you take me out of my damn ball?
or you're falling. You have the idea to use Bulbasaur. You only have a 1 out of 5 shot at getting the right Pokeball.
Yes.
Like how? And I understand it's a cartoon, right? But how did he know while he's falling off a cliff? Oh, that's Bulbasaur's Pokeball. Like he did. There's no shot of him looking down at his belt.
Unless he just has them organized like that.
I have trouble believing that Ash Ketchum is that organized.
I'd be the one where I'm like, Bulbasaur, grab me, and then Charmander comes out and goes, Char.
That would have been funnier. That honestly would have been funnier, and then you reveal that it wasn't that far of a drop, and Ash just landed in a bush or something.
Yeah.
But
funny stuff we think of.
But that to one side. So Bulbasaur brings out his vines and brings Ash back, and Ash is acting like it ain't nothing. And Bulbasaur's standing there. Not for 1 second did Ash turn around and go, "Thank you, Bulbasaur, for saving my life." He just said, "Look, there's Vermilion City."
And let's not sit here and glance over at how strong his fucking Bulbasaur is, because Bulbasaur didn't grind his nails into the ground, grip, or anything. Bulbasaur just got out of the Pokeball, took out his vines, and was like, "Gotcha."
Like, oh, this is the same. Hell? This is the same Bulbasaur a couple weeks, maybe a month ago at this point, was using his vines as a suspension bridge in an upside down ship.
Hello?
Oh,
okay.
Crap.
No, okay. There we go. We're good. We're here.
Where did I lose? Right. Where did you lose me?
I heard you say this is the same Bulbasaur that maybe a month ago.
Maybe a month ago at this point. I've lost track. We're, humble brag. We're so far ahead. That was using his vines as a bridge in an upside down ship.
Yes.
So I mean, Bulbasaur's got the strength.
Yeah, he does. And well, I guess they did call him back. I was like, how the fuck did Bulbasaur get across? that
They
fire.
they didn't call him back. We didn't get a shot of him back. It was just assumed.
It was assumed that Ash didn't let Bulbasaur. All right, Bulbasaur. I'm sorry, but there's fire over here. Your grass. Bye.
There's fire, your grass. You know how this ends.
So, okay. Let's go ahead and continue. But yeah, there's there's Viridian City, and it looks like Las Vegas the way that they laid it out.
Yeah, it was real pretty. I mean, it was a
Real
real quick skyline shot, but it was real pretty.
and they end up coming into Viridian City, and it's at this moment that firecrackers start popping off at these cold and tired Pokemon trainers.
And I paused it at a really perfect spot. It's like just as the fireworks are going off, Pikachu's in midair shocked. You know that shocked meme of Pikachu?
Yeah.
And then Ash he's got 1 foot off the ground, Brock's got 1 foot off the ground, and Missy's just standing there screaming.
And then we have these two, and I'm going to put in quotations, girls give Ash a kiss on the cheek because they are now winners coming into this town.
Yes, they are the 1 millionth, 1 millionth and 1 millionth and 2, and 1 millionth and 3rd visitors of Viridian City.
Yes. And spoiler alert, it's Team Rocket. But what?
Get the fuck out of here.
And
Been sitting here for 3 hours trying to figure out who the fuck they were.
So yeah, because it's funny because like later on we get the whole, oh my gosh, James kissed me, ew.
Yeah, that is, and he's all. I think he's more mad that he's been kissed by James. Well, I mean, to be fair, he gets mad that they both kissed him.
Yeah, but I think it's more that he got kissed by a boy than anything. Like James really gets into his cosplay.
Yeah, I mean, I was just mad that he didn't have the boobs he had in Beauty and the Beast. I mean, he fucking paid for them.
I mean, Brock would have tipped him at that point.
Oh boy.
Oh, come on. Tell me Brock would not have said, "Hey."
Brock would have said, "Now I've got more confusing feelings."
Yes. So, but yeah, it's at this point
I have to ask this question.
Yes.
I've just thought about it. How come Ash is the only one that gets laid?
What do you mean?
He's the only one that's got a layer on his neck.
Because he was the 1 millionth person to come into the town.
Yeah, but they all got the fireworks.
They all got the fireworks, but Ash took the first step. So Ash basically brought everybody into death. They all could have died. But Ash was the 1 millionth, or quote unquote. And they walk into the Pokemon Center, or these two ladies, which is Team Rocket, walk into a Pokemon Center, and as soon as they walk in, I believe it was James,
Yeah,
that grabbed Pikachu and had rubber gloves on.
which is pretty slick. I would have enjoyed it more if you could see that James, the James lady, clearly had rubber gloves the whole time. But obviously, the trainers are walking ahead and Pikachu's kind of behind, and James just kind of grabs Pikachu and drops his lady, drops the whole pretend shtick and goes, "Thanks for the Pikachu," and then acts out and says, "You can't take Pikachu," and he gets pushed.
And then they land on a piece of like I guess a psychic flooring, and they vanish. And Team Rocket just looks at each other and was like, "We got him." That was too easy. And
Sorry, I just landed on the scene where Ash realized that Team Rocket kissed him on the cheek and he's freaking out.
so it's at this point after Ash, Misty, and Brock vanish, and Team Rocket now has Pikachu. They that Ash, Misty, and Brock vanish into this like little cube room.
Right. It almost looks like a panic room. Like just to kind of put a clear picture in people's head. It's a square cube room. It's 4 sides
That has a weird flooring in the middle
and
that teleports you.
and we get a flat screen lowering down. And then that's
And
where
Team Rocket does their slogan.
right.
And it's just funny because as the series goes on, they get interrupted so much with doing their slogan in the future that they just give themselves away at this point.
Well, and I think this was something that I was curious about when we started, because obviously they get it out clean in the pilot. I think I asked, how soon till they get interrupted. And I think it was episode 2.
Yeah.
So they
And
couldn't even let that build up.
no, not at all. And they after they do their slogan, they go, please stand by, and they duck underneath the camera, and they basically strip down back to their Team Rocket outfits, and they bounce back up. And as soon as Ash finds out that, oh my gosh, they both kissed me, and he's wiping his cheeks just in disgust.
Yeah, I mean, he pulls a complete like South Park. Oh my god!
Nah, 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 nah. So Team Rocket continues to do their slogan at this point, and Ash, Misty, and Brock. Um, and this is where you have to kind of suspend disbelief, but they out of nowhere have a whole pot, a table, some tea, some oranges, and they're not paying Team Rocket no mind right now, and that just steams Team Rocket.
Yeah, they're just over it. I mean, there's a couple of good lines. What did Because Ash says something like they'll be canceled. No, okay. I think Misty says this show is boring, and Ash says it'll be canceled soon.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. Oh, and James is like, we're boring, and we're not gonna be canceled.
No, this brings up a question of is this a two-way monitor? Because obviously because obviously Team Rocket can see them, right?
Yes.
Because they pull back and reveal that I was about to say Milhouse, that Meowth has Pikachu tied
Wrong
to a
show.
chair.
Wrong show. Dude.
Yeah, I know. That Meowth has Pikachu tied to a chair, and then that's what really starts kind of freaking Ash out because he realizes, oh right, I'm a trainer and I'm supposed to care about my Pokemon and not just use them as goddamn Swiss Army knives.
So at this point, after they reveal Pikachu, Ash walks up to the camera, and Team Rocket's like, "All right, goodbye," and then they shut the camera off.
No, it goes out because they
uh,
panic because they're like, how do we get the picture back?
Yes, yes, and Meow kind of gives a one-liner about learning how to use your stuff. Let's see.
And
Let's see. Meowth is like, turn it back on. Oh, he said that's what happens when you work with amateurs.
and
So,
Jesse and James are pressing buttons and flicking levers, and Meowth goes, hey,
who's that?
who invited the girl?
Eh,
And
we see little Sabrina again.
Team Rocket looks over, and Sabrina uses some energy to freeze them in place.
And then picks up Pikachu and takes Pikachu back to Ash, Misty, and Brock.
Yeah, she teleports into the room and gives Pikachu back and says, "Were you the one?" And this is this is the first time where I had to kind of take a step, because I mentioned this off air. I'm going to really start to try to make a conscious effort of just letting some of this dialogue happen,
Okay.
because this is our 21st episode that we've done.
22nd.
22nd. Well, I'm seeing 21 because Pokemon.com isn't counting.
Beauty and the Beach. And neither do you.
Wow, right. So this is a 22nd episode we've done. 23rd if we count having to do it twice. So this is the 22nd episode we've done, and I've found myself far too often being kind of bugabooed by how kind of obvious some of this dialogue is, and you start to get mad, right? You're like they'll be battling, and Misty will say, "Pikachu used Thunder Shock," or whatever whatever.
Well, like no shit.
And you get mad, and then you realize
It's a kid show.
you're a 31-year-old man. The show isn't for you. You're rewatching it. Like you said, it's a kid's show.
You're rewatching it as an adult to review it and make fun of it, kinda, but still kind of relive your childhood.
So shut up and enjoy yourself for 20 minutes. And I'm really going to try to start doing this, but this was definitely one of the first times, because Ash is like, "Were you the one that's responsible for getting Pikachu back?" It's like, she showed up in the room with Pikachu. What are you...
Yes. What are you talking about? But all right, but yeah, we continue.
Yeah, so she shows up in the room, hands Pikachu over. Ash is dumb. And then she uses her energy again and points at the trio, and Pikachu, and
Teleports everybody out.
out of the room. And it's either Misty or Brock goes, "She must have teleported us."
Yeah.
It's like, well, you didn't fucking walk out, did you?
But I mean, it is pretty weird. Like, can you imagine that happening to you, like in real life? You're like, okay, I didn't think shit like this could actually happen, but here we are.
No, and I would definitely start kind of trying to. I would definitely start being kind of fishy about stuff, because they just happen to be dropped right in front of the gym, right?
Yeah.
And Ash is like, "Well, this is convenient. I'm about to go get this badge, and we can be out of here." And this
And
jogger...
I was about to say, then you get this creepy man just walking up.
he's like, I wouldn't go into that gym if I was you. Sabrina's very powerful. And
Ash is determined to get this gym badge.
he's like, "Well, I need this gym badge because I need 8 gym badges to qualify for the Pokemon League." And the guy's like, "Well, I wouldn't." And Ash wants to ask why, and by the time he turns around, the guy's
Jogging away.
jogging away.
Because this guy's smart.
So instead
but I mean,
yeah,
it would be nice to have, like, do they not research gyms before they go there? And I'm gonna guess that it's a no, because I'm 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 almost certain that everybody in this town knows what's going on inside of this gym.
yes, yeah. I mean, you have to figure that, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not picturing Ash as the type of guy that I mean, this is coming from Ash, who pulls out his Pokédex, which, out of context, is a very dirty sentence. Every time he sees a new Pokemon. So, which again is another very dirty sentence.
Leave it up to you to make the word Pokedex into a dirty word.
Yeah, well, you're
Oh,
laughing at it.
don't be whipping out your Pokedex over there.
Yeah, you can't just be whipping out your Pokédex every time you see a Pokemon in the street, for goodness sakes. Um, so yeah, I don't get that impression from Ash that he would be studious enough to be like, let me, because remember when they're in Cerulean City, and this is reminding me that Brock would be no help either, because when they were in Cerulean City, Ash goes, "Hey Brock, you're a gym leader. Give me some dirt on this gym leader."
And
I
then
can't.
I can't do that. It's gym leader code.
This fucker knew nothing because he was talking about. I've never met them, but I know their Pokemon signature move or whatever the fuck. You don't know diddly about nothing.
No, you just don't want to admit that you're wrong.
So
So
yeah, I mean, you would think like if they redid this show in 2020 or in the 21st century in general, you'd be able to look up you'd be able to look up stats, you'd be able to see videos from battles, you'd be able to prep, you'd probably be able to book an appointment.
yeah, I mean, we did last week just review a damn Pokemon movie where they completely took out Brock and Misty out of the movie.
This is true.
They acted like Ash just went on this journey all by himself and that they were just not there. So take that for what it is. And that was the damn 20th anniversary. 20th anniversary, and you don't even want to celebrate Brock or Misty. Come
This
on.
this is the part of the sentence where I go, boy, I can't wait to watch that movie.
So, all right. But it's at this point now that after the jogger walks away, Ash, Misty, and Brock walk up to the gym. They walk into the gym, and as they walk in, they walk into a room because this is a pretty big gym. They
Yes.
walk they walk into a room where it looks like trainers are training, I guess, to be psychic leaders or just to use psychic powers in general inside of this gym. I mean, this was a pretty weird room. Would you be able to elaborate a little bit more, Doug?
Yeah. So they do kind of a pan shot, and there's a bunch of trainers sitting at round tables. They land on one where two guys are sitting across from each other. One guy holds up a card, with facing away from the guy, and he goes circle, and the guy turns the card around and goes square, and the guy goes and they go to one, and and this lady's staring, and you can hear her concentrating very hard on a spoon, and
It wasn't a lady. That's a man.
that was a lady.
That's a man.
That's a lady with the spoons. The first
Oh,
lady.
the first lady. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I thought you were talking about the man that was trying to bend the spoon and talking to Ash, Misty, and Brock.
No, no, no. He comes in a couple minutes or a couple seconds. No, but she's focusing at the spoon and she gets it to bend, and you can see that she's done it a couple other times, and she's very pleased with herself. And our heroes are standing outside the door, and Pikachu's kind of hanging there. Pardon me, it's just how I got it paused. Pikachu's kind of hanging there like a Garfield window cling. Um,
Yes. Garfield window clink. Draw Pikachu as a Garfield. Too
yeah,
easy. Too easy.
too easy. And this guy walks up, and this guy tripped me the fuck out
Why?
because, like, we're in a pandemic, right?
Oh, and he's wearing the mask. Gotcha.
And he's
Just
wearing a mask, and I'm going, what the fuck? What? Apropos, does not explained.
he's
Misty doesn't go, why are you wearing a mask? He goes, well, I've got a canker sore or something. He's got a mask, and just nobody questions it. I was like, that's fucking trippy.
it is. But wait until you get into a further episode where Ash and his Bayleaf are they have to wear a mask because of a bunch of dust in the air. And both his Bayleaf and him are both wearing a what looks like a COVID mask. I think I sent you a screen grab of that when I was
Yeah,
on that
a
episode a
couple
month
of
or so
months
ago.
ago. So if we get to that point, we're doing really well.
So hey, it's the next series, so I mean it's not too far off.
Oh, damn, really? That's Orange League?
Yeah,
Damn,
yeah, that's over there.
son of a gun. Okay. Um, yeah, so the guy walks up, he's like, "What are you doing?" And our heroes aren't exactly, taken aback. They're just kind of like, "Hey, what's going on in that room there?" And I'm not. I don't have the freaking
Yeah,
because Misty says, "What's going on in that room?"
and he comes out and says they're all training to become psychic leaders. And he comes out and he's like, but I'm gonna beat all of them. And and gets his spoon out and goes, now watch me as I bend this spoon with my mind. And
This motherfucker gave me a headache.
yeah, he did, because he's looking at the spoon, and as he's trying to bend it with his mind, he is turning all sorts of red and purple. And Ash and Misty, and Brock are just looking at him like, okay. And he finally gets it to bend, but here's what it looks like he did. So anybody that's done this trick or even attempted this knows that you take your thumb and you put it on the weakest point of the spoon, and as you're pretending to do this with your mind, you're pressing with your thumb, and then it kind of bends it just a little bit. But the lady that we saw like 10 seconds ago, when she did it, hers bent and it was like a 90-degree. This guy, he was bending his and it bent like maybe like 20, 30-degree. And he's all out of breath and panting as soon as he does it too. And Ash, Misty, and Brock are just like, okay.
That was basically the epitome of weird flex, but okay. And then Ash is a complete dipshit because he goes, "Oh yeah, well I got my own trick for bending spoons."
I'm gonna do this, and then he just takes a spoon and bends it with two hands and hands it back to the guy, and the guy's like, "Really, fucker?
And
Really?"
Brock and Misty are standing there going, "Pretend you don't know him. That's embarrassing. This is ridiculous."
Just awesome, but remember, 10-year-old, 10-year-old.
Right. And
Oh,
then
oh,
Ash
oh, I'm sorry.
Ash gets serious and he's like, "Now take me to the gym leader. I'm here for a match." And the
And it's
guy's
at
all,
this point, and
but
he's like, "All right, if you want to," and basically leads them to the room. He goes in, and the guy goes into the room with them.
right, because
And
he has to present them to her
yes,
as challengers,
which is kind
even though it's just Ash, which is always weird.
yeah, but this is kind of weird because it's like he's going in there and sacrificing these kids. He's like, I have your new sacrifice, or I guess is that what they would be called? Just I have your new sacrificees, or what?
Sacrifice these sacrifices depends on how lazy you want to be.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so he kind of kneels down and he's like, these three want to challenge you, even though I don't know why you would bother. And you see the doll Sabrina's eyes start to glow, and he gets the energy around him, and he's like, "Forgive me, I shouldn't concern myself with who you battle."
And yeah, and he's like, I'm sorry, and she's making him choke himself. Like,
Yeah,
I'm just now noticing that, like, his hands go up to his neck, and she's choking him, pulling some Star Wars Darth Vader stuff, and then lets him go, and this dude just books it out of there.
yeah. I mean, he's done. He's like, "Well, that was unpleasant. That's not an ideal way to spend a Wednesday." And he leaves, and then Ash gets all macho. He's like, I'm here for a match. I want a badge. And she's like, all right, but if I win, you have to play with me
And
and be
the,
my friend.
and they're all like, okay, that's kind of weird, but all right, if we lose, I will play with you.
And then Ash is like, you guys should have more faith in me. And Brock and Misty are kind of on the tip right away because they're like, you got to be careful. There's some spooky shit going around here. And once they kind of agree to the battle, I mean, the door slams shut,
Because that's all
and the
Sabrina needed.
and the and the and the metal screen lifts that's in front of this throne, and we finally see Sabrina is holding this doll that has a Pokeball in its hand, which is kind of cute. I'd buy that Funko Pop.
I would too.
And I think it's at that point we get the act break for the Who's That Pokemon.
Yes.
I think.
Yes, we do.
I'm getting really good at
You're,
looking for not looking for them, but you can if
you
you're
can
if you're
tell.
paying enough attention, you can So we come back and they're kind of stunned. They're like, "Oh, so you're Sabrina?"
And they're looking at the older Sabrina now, that is sitting there, and unbeknownst to them that, well, I'm not gonna spoil the whole
Yeah, you're
big,
spoiling a couple episodes at this point.
yeah, the big Sabrina, little Sabrina, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Right.
But yeah, it's at this point that they levitate off of the chair, and it's gonna be a 1 versus 1 battle. Each trainer only gets one Pokemon to throw out there and to use during this battle, and whoever wins wins. The loser has to play with Sabrina or little Sabrina, because that was the stipulation.
Right. So, Sabrina summons Abra, and Ash turns around and goes, "Pikachu, go get him!" And finally, Pikachu looks like he's actually wanting to fight. I mean, for goodness sakes, how many episodes have we seen where Pikachu's digging his heels in, saying, "I don't want to fuck with that Raichu"?
Exactly.
So he's out there, and the fight begins, and Abra's just chilling. Pikachu's ready to go. I mean, he's doing all kinds of agility around him.
But it looks like Abra's sleeping, so it kind of confuses the mess out of Pikachu.
And Ash, because we get obvious Ash, we get nobody sends a sleeping Pokemon out to battle. Is she making fun of me?
And Pikachu just looks at it, does its little circle around it, like, "Are you awake? Are you there? Hello? Hey."
And there's times where I do wish that we could
Get subtitles.
that we had subtitles like Giant Pokemon, because Pikachu turns around and says a full sentence to Ash. I mean, that we have no idea what he said, but I mean, we can infer. And it's at this point, old Ash summons Dexter.
Of
And
course, because he has to take his Dexter out every time he sees a new Pokemon. I'm totally gonna think dirty things every time I say that now.
yeah,
I blame you.
yeah, well. So we get Abra's backstory where it sleeps like 18 hours a day, but uses telekinesis um, constantly, even while sleeping. And Pikachu summons up Thunderwave. We get a little bit of psychic energy. Sabrina's eyes start glowing red. Then Abra's
and this is unfair right here. This is completely cheating in my eyes. Like, Sabrina's controlling Abra with her mind. Like, she wakes up Abra with her mind. Is that not cheating to you?
No, that's the gimmick of the gym.
Oh, I guess.
I mean, that's like, that would be like us getting on Misty's sister's case for having Staryu jump into the pool to revive itself.
True.
I mean,
Okay.
that's the gimmick of the gym. Um, so Abra disappears, gets out of the way of the Thundershock, reappears in front or behind Pikachu. Pikachu has a jump scare, and then apropos of fucking nothing, doing. I mean, obviously we don't know how well trained this Abra is, so we don't know. Abra evolves into Kadabra,
Out of nowhere. And
and
and Ash thinks that that's cheating because he thinks that that's a second Pokemon, but it's the same Pokemon.
then Misty has to, hold our hands as a viewer and say, well, it's not illegal to evolve during a battle, which it isn't.
No,
Never happened that way in the games, mind you. But
hell no. She had a Abra and a Kadabra inside of, and I believe she had an Alakazam, if I'm not mistaken. Like she had all three evolutions, didn't she,
I
in the
believe
game?
so. I believe they Well, obviously it started with Abra, and then the big Kahuna was Alakazam. But yeah,
Yes.
no. But I'm talking about like mid match evolution.
Yes.
Like if your Pokemon was going to evolve, you had to beat whoever you were facing first.
Exactly.
You know,
I mean, I wish
you couldn't go into a battle with a Charmeleon and finish that son of a gun off with a Charizard.
that would be like us going into this game, playing the game and losing the first battle because Abra evolved into Kadabra, and then you go to fight her again, and you're like, wait a minute, didn't your Abra evolve? And there's like, no, he's gonna evolve now again. The second time you fight him, and just evolve into Kadabra again, like motherfucker. Okay, we were waiting for this. This just happened. Did you not just see this happen?
I don't want to play this game anymore.
You can evolve and de-evolve your Pokemon. That's not fair. That's not cool.
Yeah, that's not cool. I'm reporting you to the Pokemon League.
But Pikachu sends its Thundershock into the air, and when it sends it into the air, creates this big old circle of a Thundershock, and sends it down to Kadabra, who then uses its psychic power to basically take the Thundershock and send it back towards Pikachu and make it look like a damn dragon.
Now, and here's my question. Right, like Pikachu sent the Thunder Wave out to begin with, right?
Yes.
This is from Pikachu.
Yes.
Pikachu is an electric mouse.
Yes.
So shouldn't Pikachu just be able to absorb the energy, or was it coming back at such a magnified rate?
Well, and I found this out at a later episode, and I mean we're far enough back to where we can revisit it once it comes out. But Pikachu can only withstand so much electricity. So so there was a gym in a future episode where Pikachu had to beat up a robot Pokemon first before it can go into battle. And when it beat up that robot Pokemon, it absorbed a lot of the electricity. So when Ash went into battle, he KO'd each Pokemon inside of that gym with one attack. He KO'd three Pokemon and didn't get touched once. And the gym leader was like, "This has never happened to me." But and then Pikachu got very sick after that gym battle because it had all this extra electricity within its body, and it needed to be treated at the Pokemon Center, or he was gonna die.
Gotcha.
So yeah, and Pikachu being this young right now in this episode, I can only imagine it. It doesn't take much extra electricity to make Pikachu feel like shit.
No, I wouldn't imagine so. I mean, this
This
redirected
Pikachu.
wave sent it from this redirected wave knocked Pikachu on its ass right here.
Yeah. So, This is a freshly evolved Kadabra, and at this point, Pikachu got shocked, and then it seems like Kadabra is picking up Pikachu with its psychic power, but Ash doesn't see this, and Ash is like, all right, there you go, Pikachu. Now let's get back into this battle, not even realizing that Pikachu is being controlled by Kadabra at this point.
Yeah, and then Kadabra makes him do a little jig, and then Ash goes, look, he's in good spirits, he's dancing, and that's when Misty basically smacks him in the face, says, he's not doing that himself, you idiot. And then freaking Kadabra is giving him the up-downs from floor to ceiling.
Yeah, I felt bad for Pikachu. It was just like, I'm gonna beat you, and I'm just gonna whack, 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 whack. And it was at this point up to Ash to call this off, and he ran in and grabbed Pikachu, and the gym battle was over at this point because he forfeits.
And then by virtue of the pardon me, by virtue of the stipulation, that means they have to play with Sabrina. So they get transported out, and when they first land, we think, oh, they're just in some street in the middle of town. It's suspiciously empty, but it's just some random street.
Yes.
So they kind of start to look around. Never mind, Pikachu's all in Ash's arms, banged up, but nobody seems to be worried about that. Fucking Ash puts Pikachu down, which is bullshit, and then Pikachu's just supposed to run like nothing happened, which is bullshit, but whatever.
And then they walk into a house.
Like they just walk in. They just walk in.
They didn't even Ash didn't even knock.
He just says, hello, is anybody home? And then they walk in and there's food on the table, like set up for a luncheon, and Brock is apparently so damn hungry he can't wait. He picks up this piece of cake and goes, well, I know it's rude, but I can't help myself. Then he fucking breaks his face on this piece of pie.
But okay, Brock is the one that cooks for Misty and Ash, okay?
Yeah.
How the fuck do you pick up cake with your bare hands and not realize that the cake is not getting on your hands, and you bite this damn cake and then realize that it's fake?
Maybe it just came out of the freezer.
But even that type of cake still gets on your fingers. But Ash then goes into walks past the bathroom where he sees a girl in a bath, and Ash reaverts his eyes and goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't know anybody was here."
Yeah, we just walked in. We just didn't assume anybody was here. We're sorry. And then, Pikachu has to kind of pull on his pant leg a little bit and go, "Yo, man, you got to turn around." And then we see in the mirror that it's clearly a doll.
Yeah. And Ash is like, oh, it's just a doll. And they're walking around, and then all of a sudden we see a big old Sabrina, or little Sabrina, who looks like she's like 10 times the size of Ash, Misty, Brock, and Pikachu at this point. And everybody is all sorts of confused at this point.
Ash goes, I didn't know she was that big. And Misty goes, you idiot, we're that small. And I was like, oh, shit.
And at this point, big Sabrina tries to put her hand into the, I'm spoiling it, but dollhouse, into the house to grab them, and they just book it out of there. And at this point, little Sabrina steps in and goes, you told me that you wanted to play. Let's play catch. And she takes a big old ball and she throws it into the playset, and the ball just starts tumbling towards Ash, Misty, Brock, and Pikachu. This is fucked up.
And there's this really good shot before little Sabrina is lowered into the town. There's this really good shot of them standing in front of this big sprawling model that you can see from the quick shot takes up the entire length of this table. And it's just this detailed, like, diorama style town.
Yes.
I was like, that's a fucking cool shot. But then, yeah, little Sabrina goes, I want to play ball. So she rolls this ball because they're running, they're trying to find it. And they run into this framed picture of Sabrina with her, with
Mom
two
and
adults at
dad.
this point. Well, we don't know that.
Well, you would have to suspect it's her mom and dad.
Well, but you don't know. They could have been the help.
Uh, they're not going to put the help in a damn kids cartoon.
You don't fucking know that. She could be rich. Butlers
Okay,
and maids and ass wipers all over the place.
but
Anyway,
yeah,
so they
but
run
yeah,
into this.
Sabrina.
They run
Uh,
into this frame picture, and they say, "Well, it's a dead end." And then Sabrina pitches this ball, and it's gonna crush him.
yes, I mean all they have to do is just run to the side.
But
Realistic.
it's a fucking big boulder. I'm paralyzed at this point. I'm
Oh
going.
my gosh, I'm about to die.
Yeah, we know a little something about that, don't we?
What?
And one of us ran, didn't they?
Wait, what happened?
And one of us was dumbstruck and couldn't move, but the other one was
Oh,
10 yards down the
yes.
way, wasn't he?
Yeah, yeah. old old story, Doug. Old story.
Yeah, still relevant.
I'll,
Um,
I'll never live it down.
no, you won't. Um,
I couldn't pick you up.
that doesn't matter. So this ball is coming at them, and they're gonna get crushed. And then the jogger that we saw from
makes
moments earlier,
makes his second appearance by transporting into this playset.
drops in front of them and says, "Focus on me," and he's able to transport them out of the way just as the ball goes smashing into the picture. And Sabrina doesn't seem phased. She goes, "That was fun. We should do that again sometime."
And then they transport outside of the Pokemon gym where they're speaking to this dude again. And it's at this point the dude goes, Sabrina is a very, very dangerous Pokemon trainer. And you and your Pikachu are not going to be able to defeat Sabrina by yourself. You need a counter Pokemon. And the only Pokemon that is going to be anywhere close to defeating Sabrina would be a ghost Pokemon.
You just skipped like a really, really important piece of this episode. And this
What
is,
did I say?
I think this is the first time in the 22 episodes that we've done this that I've actually had to pull you back.
Oh, my bad.
Because Ash is pigheaded, right? He's like, well, if we attack her first, we'll be fine. And this guy's like, you don't understand. And Ash is like, I'm macho, I'm a man. So the guy kind of is like, all right, I've had enough of this shit. He does the psychic energy, pants his Ash, makes Ash do basically the Thriller dance.
Funniest shit ever. And Misty and Brock are just sitting there like, okay.
Ash is dumbfounded, and then male embarrassed, so he's like gonna prove that he's this big tough dude, and he approaches this dude like, "Hey man, I appreciate you saving our lives, but you need to help me." And the guy's like, away with you, basically, and knocks him back. And then, Ash picks himself back up, and he's like, "Dude, cut out the shit. You need to help us." And he knocks him back again, harder the second time. And Misty is like, "Dude, fucking stay down." And he gets up, and the guy puts the psychic energy on him again. Ash goes down to his knees, and he starts crawling at the dude. He's like, "I just want some help." And you can see that the guy's kind of impressed,
Because he's withstanding the psychic attack.
And he gets to the guy's foot, and the guy's like, "Look, there's one Pokemon, there's one type of Pokemon that might have a shot at beating a psychic type. You need to go to Lavender Town and find a ghost Pokemon, and you might have a shot. And he teleports into a tree, and Brock and Misty pick him up, and Brock and Ash goes, "We're going to Lavender Town."
Because we need a ghost Pokemon.
And the guy's up in the tree, and you get his last little bit of inner monologue, and he goes, he might just be strong enough to take on Sabrina. And so our heroes go off to Lavender Town, and then, unfortunately, well, I mean, because it's funny, but it doesn't really have any. I mean, they could have done this earlier or waited until next episode. The last shot of the episode is Meowth dragging a still
Team
frozen
Rocket.
Yeah.
How are they still frozen at this point?
Well, because in our to the best of our knowledge as a viewer, Sabrina froze them, transported into the room with Pikachu, and then transported out of the room to the front of the gym, and we never saw. I mean, this is the last time we saw Team Rocket for this episode. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's almost like it was an afterthought. Like they were getting done, and they're like, we never addressed Team Rocket again. And the guy's like, oh shit, we gotta throw this in.
So let's just have them follow Ash, Misty, and Brock right behind them.
And poor Meowth's putting in work. So yeah, that's the end of the episode.
That's the end of part 1 of this 3-parter.
Our heroes are headed to Lavender Town
to get a ghost Pokemon.
Which that episode we'll be recording it
next week.
2 days. I can't do math. 4 days before Halloween. So if that's not a little bit of serendipity, I don't know what it is.
I know. Say that again, Doug.
That again.
Say serendipity again.
Serendipity.
There you go. But all right, but yeah, that was this week's episode, and next week's episode is called The Tower of Terror, and it's labeled part 2, and translated from Japanese, it is called Got It at the Pokemon Tower. So, you know what? I like that.
Like GOTIT, got it?
Yeah. Got it at the Pokemon Tower.
And what's the English title?
The Tower of Terror.
Yeah, see, I like that better.
So, that's next week's episode. So, do you have any more housekeeping to do, Doug, or are we vanishing off into the sunset?
No, I really like this episode. I really like recording this episode. Part 1 is the new leader in the clubhouse. I don't know how long that's gonna last.
You're gonna like. I think out of all 3 of these, I think you're gonna like part 2 better than part 1.
I really remember enjoying Lavender Town in the games, because they had the spooky music, and it literally got darker. So yeah, I'm excited to rewatch this and do part 2 next week. I like it when they end with a clear action point. Like, okay, we know Ash is going to Lavender Town, and we know he's looking for a ghost Pokemon, and we know he's going to eventually come back because he's, Billy Big Balls, so.
Yep. So next week, don't think you're getting another gym battle, because next week is Ash's attempt at getting a ghost Pokemon for the first time.
Yes.
So the gym battle is hopefully in 2 weeks.
Right.
Will
If all goes well in Lavender Town.
will he get will he get a psychic badge?
A marsh badge.
A psychic badge. Will he get it? Holy shit, it snowed in other parts of the world today?
I was seeing that float around. I wasn't
What?
sure if that was. I wasn't sure what was going on.
Is that out here in Illinois?
No, I wouldn't. Well, I mean, I guess it's possible.
Is
I
it?
It might be. I think there was some speculation that it might we might have gotten it around here, but
Whoa,
thankfully,
no way. Thank goodness that we didn't, but holy crap, I'm seeing that's clearly like 7 inches of snow.
it wouldn't matter. We can't go anywhere anyway.
True. True that.
Let it snow.
No, I don't want it to snow.
Well, it's fine.
I don't want it to snow.
It's all right.
No.
I get started early. With
Oh
that.
no, that was in Minnesota. Okay, okay. It's close enough.
Yeah, that's close. That's only 8 hours. That's close enough.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's pray that we keep the snow away from us as long as we can because we're in Chicago. So,
No, we're not.
We're not going to give the city that we live in. We're going to give the major city in the state that we live in.
Well, yeah, but we're not in Chicago. Like, I mean, we can say we're in the suburbs.
Yeah, we're in the suburbs of Illinois, outside of Chicago.
Yeah, well, yeah. If I go any further, you could start pushing. But yeah, we're in the suburbs.
There you go. So,
Which I would argue gets hit harder than the city in some spots.
yeah, it does. It does.
But yeah.
So, all right.
This was a great first step in a trilogy. I'm really looking forward to the next two.
This is gonna be fun getting these next two out.
This is a good way to start the year.
And 3 more episodes until we get our hopeful third person on a special guest on the episode.
I was gonna say, make sure. I mean, nothing against the dude, but make sure to say special guest because you say third person like
that. C note, where are you? I'm joking. I know he doesn't like Pokemon. So, all right. So you say goodbye, Doug.
Goodbye, Doug.
And this is Wrestling Chris G saying, who doesn't listen to a second part of a 3-parter? So I will see you next week. Have a good night, everybody.